What about these changes was the one that surprised you the most?
It's probably not one that anyone else would have picked up initially, but when we serve a notice to vacate on a tenant, there's one which we use, which is an end of fixed term tenancy. So for a tenancy of less than 6 months, it's 60 day. For a tenancy more than 6 months, it's 90 day notice to vacate. They've changed it, so they've restricted it to the initial lease term only. So what that will mean for property investors is if you have a tenant that's there for 12 months and then you re-sign them to a new fixed term lease, you can no longer use that notice to vacate to evict that tenant.
Next one is under section 44 regarding rental increases.
So that's in now. That came in on the 19th of June this year. So we can only increase the rent every 12-month period. So it used to be 6 monthly, now every 12 months.
What's your observation of that? Good, bad, or
fantastic?
Indifferent?
Yeah. Rents really don't fluctuate that quickly anyway. No. And as property managers, we didn't want to review the rents every 6 months and go, we can't do anything. Yep. So a lot of ours were set to annual anyway. So I don't think that's a big disruption at all. I think it's good for all parties.
Urgent repairs. What sort of additions have been changed?
So the change there is air conditioning will become an urgent repair. So it doesn't mean that a landlord, our owner, needs to put it in. However, if it is in, it does become an urgent repair to fix. So no surprises there. I'm not surprised at that.
Stinking hot day.
The only hard part there is trying to get an electrician out at the drop of a hat in 40-degree weather. But anyway, we'll work with that one. The other change there is every property in Victoria is going to have rental minimum standards that they have to adhere to. And at the moment, CAV's given us a list of what they propose to be minimum standards. I don't think any of them are too onerous, but it's things like a functioning heater in the main living area, window furnishings in the main living area and bedrooms, or any room expected to be used as a bedroom, adequate hot and cold water in the kitchen, bathroom and laundry. The property has to be secure, so can't get in through external access. One of the ones there, sink, food preparation area, cooktop and oven. And the other one there that they've mentioned is a vermin-proof bin. And I just look at that and go, does that mean we have to make sure we've got council bins with lids, or does that mean we've got to make sure we go to Bunnings and get little bins for everyone's kitchen? I mean, they haven't really given us any more information. I don't think any of those are really onerous on an owner, but it's just got to make sure that we actually do adhere to those minimum standards after 1st of July 2020. A tenant renter will be able to make prescribed modifications without the landlord's consent. So we won't know about it, you guys won't, no one will know about it till we go there and do a routine and go, oh really, we've got 15 picture hooks on that wall, or we've got a new TV bracket, or we've got new shelving units. But we don't know what we're going to be given. The other part of this is anything other than that, a tenant does have to get written permission to do it. A landlord must not unreasonably withhold consent to giving of permission. There's a few different areas where they could, if there was a change of use of the property, or they were going to move into the property or something like that. But it then goes into the fact that if a tenant does want to make modifications to property that are not prescribed, we can actually take a top-up bond, which we actually don't have at our disposal at the moment. So all of a sudden I'm kind of not hating the modifications for the fact that we can actually take a top-up bond equivalent to the restoration at the end of a tenancy. So if a tenant says, I want to pop up an air conditioner, the owner might say, well, I don't want you to leave it there because it's going to be increased maintenance costs me in the future. So yes, you can put it up, but I require you to remove it and restore the premises at the end. That would cost $1,000. So give me $1,000. I'll top it up with the RTBA, and at the end, if you don't restore it, I'll use that money to do so. So
the next one is around maximum bond.
Yeah, so currently we can take a higher bond if the property is over $351 a week in rent. This is going to change to twice the median rent for Victoria, which currently stands at $760 a week. So if you have a rental amount that's more than $760 a week, you'll be able to take a higher bond on the property.
Okay. And is there an upper limit above $760?
Doesn't say at the moment, but
what's the norm for the better properties? Are they normally taking 2 months or 3 months?
Yeah, usually 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah. The highest bond I ever took was 8 weeks, and it was a $4,000 a week property.
Fair enough.
Yep. Yeah, okay. It was Makes a big sense. One.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So regardless of the amount of rent being paid, the character and nature of rented premises, and even if a tenant was aware of a disrepair before signing up for the tenancy, they can basically move into your property at $250 a week, say, for example, and pay that $250 a week, and then serve you with a massive repair bill notice, and you've got to do a certain amount of repairs. and then they're still signed up at $250 a week. So they could be fully aware that at start of tenancy, the blinds weren't great, the kitchen cupboards didn't shut properly, the tiles were coming loose in the bathroom, like a whole range of stuff, with ducted heating units not working and wouldn't be fixed. And, you're not going to fix it because you didn't want to demolish the property in 12 months' time. And the tenant's like,
beware property developers,
correct,
that one.
Yeah.
This is a big one. So what this is going to do, it's going to stop property developers putting their properties on the market for those short periods of time while they're waiting for plans and permits, or they'll put the properties up, but they'll do work to them beforehand and get a high rental, because you can rent it out and they're stuck there on the $250 a week for 12 months, and you've got to spend 20 grand bringing it up to a reasonable standard. That one's tricky. So the Act is currently silent on pets. So the only way we can do anything about pets now is if they're causing damage, a nuisance, or endangering the safety of a neighbour. Right. So tenant can apply for a
the
property.
elephant might be causing an
Yeah,
issue.
the elephant might be an issue there.
Reverse the car out.
No.
So
That big
basically,
honking, trumpeting sound that you get.
tenant moves into the property, they have no pets.
Yeah.
They apply for property, no pets.
Yeah.
And then the owner drives past and sees a little cat in the front window. If the cat's not causing damage, nuisance, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
So under the new legislation, actually puts the onus back on the tenant for doing the right thing. So the tenant will need to apply for the pet. First of all, a tenant can only keep the pet in the property with the written permission of the landlord or a vacate order saying yes to the pet. The tenant must apply to have the pet in a form approved by the Director of Consumer Affairs Victoria, so basically a pet application form.
Yep.
The tenant fills out the pet application form, hands it to the agent. The agent then has 14 days to respond to that. If they don't respond to it within 14 days, it's assumed consent. So it's automatic consent. So if you ignore it and think it's going to go away, or the owner's overseas for a month, you can't contact them, that 14 days has lapsed. It's consent. The other part here, in order to say no to that pet, you need to apply to vacate to say no to that pet within 14 days.
Okay. Now, so
And that's just lodging your,
Vacate application.